Hey y'all, part two is up. So, this is the continuation of my incredible conversation with Sheba Simpson as she lays out some facts upon information. Coincidentally, I've never had this open of a conversation with a politician before or political candidate. It's good. It's real good, y'all. Buckle up. Hope you like it.
So this is why I love this generation. I used to think that I was born too early
Mm-hmm.
because my generation, our generation,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
was told go to school, get married,
Mm-hmm.
get a house,
Mm-hmm.
put your kids through college, and
Mm-hmm.
start it all over
And
again.
start the cycle
And
all
I
over
was so
again.
different because at 5 years old, I knew I liked girls,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I tell my kids all the time, they better be very glad that I was, people won't believe this, but I was not always as strong as I am now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thankful for my children, right? But if I had been stronger, I would certainly probably had not had children,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying is I thought I was born too early. But I
Right.
know now that I'm born right on time because
Mm-hmm.
I always told people from the first time I started teaching, listen to kids,
Yep.
listen to children,
Yep.
because those are the truth tellers. Those
Yep.
are the ones who are not afraid for you to be mad at them. They're
Mm-hmm.
they're not afraid for you to put your judgments on them because they're gonna dust them off their shoulder. But this generation, these are the kids that I love,
I
you
know.
know. And I pray that in my teaching that some of my kids are out there on the front lines doing this good work and making good trouble. Because I told them that you, as Asada Shakur said, you don't let your enemy tell you who your enemy is.
Amen.
Because your enemy may be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
And until we understand and be real critical thinkers, like I tell people all the time, they use one of us to perpetuate their plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
We could use Nipsey Hussle as an example.
Okay.
I feel we could use Left Eye as an example.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we could use uh, DMX as an example.
Mm-hmm.
I feel we can use so many. I believe Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I believe that they did that to. I believe they did something to Muhammad. I don't care what anyone says. I think they did something to Muhammad Ali because he was everything they hate in a black man.
I absolutely
Intelligent,
agree. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
articulate,
Mm-hmm.
handsome, money. All type of women loved him, but he
Right.
only loved black women. Everything about him they hated.
Mm-hmm. Shiva,
Look at
Shiva.
look at Hakeem. I'm sorry.
One, no, no. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to be right back.
Okay. So you're gonna edit all of this, or what do you do after we do this?
You know what's real fun about it? I actually don't edit any of my videos. I put the entire
Really?
conversation.
So
I
even go into the bathroom just
paused that.
now? Okay.
Yeah, I paused the video. Thanks, America. I paused the video. But I like the reason why I've chosen not to edit them because the idea of Race Kiki is it's an open, intimate conversation about something people are really sensitive to talk about. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the more open and honest we are about conversations about how race affects us all, we are more cognizant when we go into a voting booth, when we walk
Mm-hmm.
into a room with people who don't look like us, when we
Mm-hmm.
walk into an office, people who don't look like us. We have a
a way of saying, you know what, I don't really give a shit what you think about me. I'm going to be unapologetically myself, and you are more than welcome to come over and drink it all in. But I don't care. But I don't want you to block my blessings.
That's right. And that's what they have traditionally done.
Yes.
If you don't sing and dance to their tune, you're not you're angry. You're not a team player. You have a chip on. You make me feel uncomfortable.
I make you feel uncomfortable because
I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know how to approach you.
No,
you know how to approach me. You know how to approach me. You just don't want to approach me like that. You want me to be like.
What's real interesting, I know what you're about to say, because I've said it my entire life. You know, the minute we start talking about race, because I've been making, black slides all the time. And I say them as like, I'm going to be unapologetically myself, period, hands down. That's just who it is. And I know that when we start talking about race, white people get super uncomfortable. And then
because they know.
But then it is
they don't want us to.
It's usually our responsibility to soothe their comfort. And I noticed that that's something that we as BIPOC, it's something that we have been trained to do. And I call bullshit because I'm just not doing that anymore. It's like
I never did.
If I'm saying something and you're uncomfortable, that's your responsibility to sit in that uncomfort. If you need to sit there, and then on the other side, if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it civilly. But what we are not going to do is you're not going to come out of your neck at me. What we're not going to do is you're not going to talk to me disrespectfully. What we're not going to do is you're not going to bring up some stupid old ass stereotypes that have really been so antiquated that, girl, could you be a little more creative? Be a little more creative, because I love to read people, but what I won't read you on, I'm not going to read you on your race, because you have no control over that.
No,
I'm not. I might tear your clothes down, but that's just my own personal thing. But I never come at anybody for their race or anything physical about them.
Because exactly
you
what
can't
you said.
Control that.
You can't control,
But you can control being an asshole.
Right. And you can control being condescending.
You can control belittling.
You can belittling. You can control doing your own research and learning.
You can control being the goddamn devil's advocate, because he doesn't need.
Because I don't need why do you need the devil? Don't need an advocate.
The devil does not need an advocate, especially from you.
So you want to be down in hell with him? Like I don't get that, and I had to retrain myself from using that phrase. I had to retrain myself from using that phrase, because at the end of the day, when you say the devil's advocate, the word devil means bad, means death, means bad. Anything negative, we know that's associated with that word.
With the devil, yes.
With the devil. So what I say to people is, let me walk it back. So on LinkedIn, this woman posted, a lawyer posted that it is the responsibility of Black women to sit with white women and explain to us what we need to do in order to make, find a compromise so that we can all get along. And so my response to her was, no, that is not our responsibility. That is the responsibility of you and your friends creating a book club and getting some books and reading. You want a list? I gave a list of books. And so and then I also added, when do Black women stop having a compromise? their comfortability to make y'all comfortable. Because I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
Period. I'm not.
I can't even believe she fixed her lips to say that.
No, she wrote that
on
LinkedIn.
So
and she's a lawyer. So
she's a lawyer.
My thing, you would never be. So and let me just say this. You know, we need to really be honest. I love when people show me who they are.
Me too. I love it.
Show me who you are so I can deal with you accordingly.
Appropriately. Yes.
I tell people all the time, you're going to meet 20 people that say something about Sheba. And out of them 20 people, you should believe what they say about me, how I interacted with them. But be clear about one thing. How I interacted with them is the way they came to me. Because I don't start mess.
Boom.
I do not start mess. But I will definitely let you know I'm not that person that you should be talking to like that. And when I have to encounter racist people, I tell them, understand something. I'm not that Black person. I'm not that Black person that y'all see in these videos that let y'all talk to them any kind of way and put hands on them. I'm not that Black person.
I'm not.
Because because at the end of the day, I have a right, flaws and all. I'm worthy because I'm a human being. We are all worthy because we are human beings. And until people understand that, we're going to continue to go around in this racist circle that hurts Black and brown people.
How do we get there?
How do we get there? Again, looking in the mirror. People have to be honest about themselves. Like I had an administrator say to me, they hate me, Sheba. Why do they hate me? And I very honestly said to her, the things that you say are inappropriate. They're stereotypical. They're outright racist, some of them. And they come from a flippant attitude. But you're not like that with me. You're not like that. I said, you know why? Because I take people one at a time. I take white people one at a time. And I get to know them before I make a judgment about them.
Me too. Same.
Because I know collectively what you have, can, and will do to us. But I cannot lump you all together into I hate white people.
Because the way that you do to us.
The way you do to us.
Because you...
And she did just like this. She was sitting in her seat.
And
she did just like this. Thank you. No one has ever said that to me.
That's amazing.
No one had ever said that to her.
That is amazing.
Because at the end of the day, I can't hate you if I don't know you.
Exactly.
I can only start hating you, or I shouldn't even hate you. I can just act as if you don't exist. I can form an opinion. But like,
once I've met you.
Like James Baldwin says, you and I can agree to disagree and still love one another. Unless our disagreement is steeped in my oppression, then we cannot.
We love that statement.
That is actually, I just put that on my picture for my work emails. Because you need to, first I'm speaking for months. After Kamala said that I made a Canva and I'm speaking, period. I'm speaking. My presence, my thoughts, my opinions are important just as much as yours are. They're significant just as much as yours are.
Amazing.
And so we have gotten into this norm in this community, in our society, that there is only one voice that should be heard and the rest of us are othered. Just like when people say, oh, white people are only people who are not white American or Caucasian Americans. I said, well, I'm not an African American. I'm Black. Because that's the title I choose to call myself. You're not going to tell me who I am in this country.
Exactly.
I am a foundation Black person. I was not an immigrant.
Nope. American
We were
descendant of
imported.
slavery.
We were imported into this country. If you want to talk about something. So when you say to me, who are you? Part of me is I'm a Black person, proud. I'm a lesbian. Proud. I am proud. I am a mother. I'm an educator. I'm an empath. I'm a leader. I'm a warrior. I'm a gatekeeper. Those are things that I chose for me. You can't tell me who I am. You won't tell me who I am. And that's what I teach my students. You have to find who you are and stand in it against all odds. Because if you don't know who you are, you're going to be in a corner on pills, trying to please everybody. You can't do it.
You are
I'm not trying to be. I tell people,
absolutely correct.
I'm not trying to be the perfect leader. There is no perfect leader. I'm trying to be the vessel that God has put the word and the spirit in me to help my community, not even lead my community, because I'm not the leader. I'm part of the collaborative. Everybody's voice is valued. Every opinion is valued. Every face is valued.
I love this.
Because if you can't do that, then you can't be part of a community. And in that word, community is unity. There can be no unity without community. And a community cannot exist if every voice is not heard and every value is not and not valued. It can't happen. And that's what has happened too long in our society. And we're saying no more, no more.
So what's your plan for the community?
My plan for my community, again, is just what I said. We're building community and unity. We're bringing all stakeholders' voices to the table. We're bringing our young people. We're bringing our seniors. We're bringing our LGBTQ, A+. We're bringing our military people. We're bringing our unemployed. We're bringing our disabled. We're building our low-income people. We're bringing the people who are professionals. We're all coming to this table, bringing ideas and not problems. Bring the problem, come with a solution. Even if that solution is not the best one, at least come with some type of plan to move us forward. We can't. We are living in a Harriet Tubman moment in history. If we do not move forward together towards progress, we are going to perish. We're going to perish in oppression.
I absolutely agree. What about community centers for the neighborhood?
So let me just tell you, there is a building being built on 145th Street and Lenox Avenue that people don't know about.
Okay.
Because we were never told that half the block was being demolished. But there is a building being built that is going to house a community center, senior centers, resource centers that really gives the community a place to go, to a hub where they can get services. Now, did I know about that until 2 days ago? No, I did not.
Why?
Because the powers that be pick and choose who has the knowledge and who is given that knowledge. St. Mark's Church was now sold to a developer.
Yes, I read that.
And instead of that person caring really about the community in which they came into, now they're building more housing. thinking that that's all we want. Granted, we do need housing.
But it won't be for us.
But it won't be for us.
That housing isn't for us.
Of course it's not. Because even with our rent, my rent is $2,600. I'm supposed to be deemed a middle class person. That's not affordable housing.
It's not. It is not.
So now they can't destroy the facade.
Right.
But they could gut the inside. You know how many dances I went there to? How many baptisms and weddings? How much history is in that church? And for them to allow, for the elite to allow that to happen, not the elite, the elected officials to allow that to happen, that speaks to the capitalistic ideology of not only Harlem, but this nation.
Yep.
And as Black people, we are communal by heart. We have begun to, a lot of us have taken on this ideology of capitalism. Get as much money as you can. Everybody got to do their part. If they don't want to be poor, pull yourselves up by the bootstrap. Well, what if you don't have boots? What if you don't have straps? And what if you weren't grandfathered in because Bob and John went to college together, or
and
their parents went together, and they're frat brothers. You can't.
There's no way to break in unless you know.
You can't. There are people who went to Harvard who were Black, did not have the same experience as white children or white young people who went to Harvard. People found out that their classmates were going to their professors' houses for these long lectures and these private parties, and they were given opportunities that Black and brown kids didn't even know, because they should just be happy they got in, not knowing that I always say this word, meritocracy or whatever.
Mediocrity?
I hate that word. No, not mediocrity.
Okay.
Meritocracy. I say the word wrong all the time, but it's the fact that you worked hard and you're getting in because of your hard and diligent work. No, your parents are paying people off. Your parents are giving Harvard and all these
Yale
other Yale, all these
Columbia.
other.
They got buildings, so that way you get in, or you're a legacy, or you know somebody, or your dad went to college with the dean, or. So there's all these connections that Black and brown bodies don't have, not because we don't want them, but because we've never had access to them.
And we've been stopped from getting that access.
Yes.
And then we have, you're only here because of affirmative action. And white women have been afforded so much more from affirmative action than you and me will ever get.
Because
nobody wants to talk about that.
But that's okay, because you get the white woman in, and the white woman, she'll meet her husband at work, and then she'll get married, right? And it's okay, because that's all right. We'll pay her less. But she can come in, she can work, but we'll pay her less. Oh, and Black women, we'll pay her even less. Oh, and a Latinx woman is 54 cents, isn't it?
No, they're 57 cents.
57?
And Black women are 67. I mean, I'm sorry, 64 cents, and white women are 71 cents.
On the white man's dollar.
On the white man's dollar.
On the white man's dollar.
And he's sitting up there telling everybody else what to do.
But now you have, and let's bring this. Now that we have those numbers, let's bring this story back to this young Black girl
who's brilliant
out here living her life, and because of white men policing her body, legislating her body, she has a baby, right? And so she's going to school and she's working and she's raising this baby on 64 cents to the white man's dollar. And this whole time being told how she's ghetto, how she's poor, how she's a welfare mother, how she's this, how she's that. She's making a decent enough money working her 2 jobs, seeing her baby sometimes. She's not making enough money to live comfortably, but making too much money to get SNAP.
That's right.
So now she's what we like to call the working poor.
Exactly.
And then she finds herself online because she's trying real hard to get ahead. And oh, look, DeVry University. So I go for a for-profit college, hoping that I can be a medical assistant, phlebotomist, or something to get a better head of myself. But what I don't realize, this young girl, what she doesn't realize is these for-profit colleges have no intentions of giving you a real education. And the loans that you're getting are being given to you at an interest rate so astronomically
you'll
high
never be able to pay off,
that you'll never be able to pay it off. And then they lloyd over this $15 an hour job that you should be getting anyway. But you go out and you go to this school and you pay your money and you come out and you owe this school like $50,000, and you go get a job, and it's not quite what you thought, and it's not really paying you what you were promised, but yet it's better than flipping burgers, and you're working and you get a little bit of insurance, but they don't cover the baby. And now what? Wow. That's hard.
Rose. Look, I thought I was you were telling my story. Let me tell you. Let me just tell you. When I got pregnant with Aaron Michael when I was 19 years old, when I should have had my ass in somebody's college, right? That's a whole nother story. But I went for welfare, right? So let me walk it back a little bit. So I got pregnant with Aaron Michael at 19, had him at 20. I said, by the time my son turns 1, I'm going to be in college. My son's birthday is September 20th.
Mine too.
That's why I love you so much. So 2 weeks before my son's birthday, college starts like right after Labor Day. So I was in college 2 weeks before my son's first birthday.
Okay.
So again, I was told that I could get from the director of the College of New Rochelle, the Rosa Parks campus, which was located on 125th Street between 7th and Lenox. Okay. Oh, you could get babysitting money, transportation, some other subsidies, because, go and see, and welfare at that time was literally right next door to the College of New Rochelle. I go there and I showed them my transcript that I'm in college. Oh, we can't help you. I said, why? I'm in school. No, we only help if you go into a trade school. I said, wait a minute. What do you mean a trade school? Like secretarial school, if you're going for learning computer, whatever. I said, what? So in order to get help, I can't go to college?
Nope.
I was shocked. Now, fast forward, it took me 8 years to get my first degree because life happened. Got married, had Egypt. I took my degree back because welfare was still next door. Them 8 years later. It wasn't the same people, but I stood in the middle of that floor and I held up my degree. And I did that not only for me, but for the women sitting in those chairs. I said, 8 years ago, I came here asking for help for me to go to college so I could help myself and help my then 1-year-old son. And they told me I couldn't do it because I was going to college. I'm here to tell you, go to college. Go to college.
Amazing.
Here comes security. I said, you don't got to walk me out. I'm walking out with my degree that y'all didn't help me get.
Because you weren't following the path. You were supposed to go to trade school. No, you were supposed to go to trade school. I bet if you were in there doing beauty school, they would have given you some help. If you were going to
be a worker.
The worst one.
To be the worker.
To be the worker.
Not to be what I'm about to be June 22nd.
Come on. Say
not to be educating minds and creating critical thinkers. Not shattering the stereotypical ideology of Black women. I wasn't supposed to do any of that. I was supposed to be the welfare mother that had a file this long because I've been on welfare for 30 years because, my son will be 30. Well, he'll be 32. I'm supposed to have a file this big on well, I don't know if they don't have files anymore, but on a computer dating back from 1989 or 1990 to 2121. That's the file I'm supposed to have. Right?
That's what
I'm supposed to be incarcerated. Yes. I'm supposed to be a junkie. Yes. I'm supposed to be a hoe. I'm supposed to be everything that they believe that we are, but I'm not.
But no, everything that we've been told that we are, that we've been shown that we are, that we've been programmed to believe that we are.
I never lived in an apartment like Good Times.
Me either.
I never had, we always had separated rooms. I may have slept with my brothers, like my mother couldn't afford a 3-bedroom, but guess what? From 10 years older until I walked out my mother's house, I lived in a brownstone with carpet this thick that it looked like felt like bunny hair. Had my own sink in my own room. Had a closet, like a whole section of closets. My brothers in my room was Jack and Jill. So you open the doors, my sink, my marble sink, their marble sink, our closets. We had our own bathroom on our own floor of that brownstone. Okay. We had the original shutters. We had fireplaces in our bedrooms. Okay. We would call the Catholic school kids on our block. Because up to the end of 121st Street were the 2 tenement buildings, but those were great families that lived in those buildings. And those were great families that lived on Morningside Heights. Those were parents that was thriving until the crack epidemic came into, they was like, oh, we ain't kill them off with heroin? Oh shit, let's give them some crack.
Let's give them some crack. Let's give them some crack.
So where all of that came, that was purposely done. And we know that. That was Reagan who was talking about stop, be hard on drugs, say no to drugs, but y'all was the one flooding our communities with drugs. And I don't care what people say, I'm not your typical candidate. I speak truth to power. Reagan was one of the most racist presidents in our lifetime.
I absolutely agree with you. Yes.
And then when he couldn't be president, his wife led this country.
And she was terrible.
So don't talk to me about resilience and don't talk to me about determination, because my people have it within their DNA, because you couldn't have came across that ocean.
We are a walking testament of resilience. We are a walking testament.
I am the dream of one of my ancestors, or several or 100 of my ancestors that dreamed of their descendants being what I am. Telling them to F off when they telling me what you gonna do and what you not gonna do. Any bad choices I made in my life, it wasn't because somebody led me to that choice. It was a choice I made.
Right.
It was a self-determined choice. And I tell people, one of my greatest goals was to live a self-determined life.
Mm-hmm.
My mother controlled everything that moved around us. And when I got out my mother's house, I said, I will never live with my mother again. Not in a disrespectful way, but that I was going to live the life I wanted to live the way I wanted to live it. And
Mm-hmm.
that is what I try to tell young people. If college is not for you, I don't care if 100 people are telling you. If you feel you have an entrepreneurial spirit, learn your craft and what you want to do and create that life for you.
And you're going to fail, and that's okay, but keep trying.
Keep going.
And that is the one thing that has come to a realization of mine. Black children, brown children rarely have the opportunity to try.
To fail. To try and to fail and not be demeaned for failing.
Because we've been bred to, if you're going to do it, you better be perfect, because we don't have money to be putting into shit that you're not good at. And you do it, and the message that all of our young people have been taught: music, you got to be a rapper, you got to be a
basketball player,
basketball, football, whatever the balls, I don't know the other balls. You can, no, those are the ones: rapper and athlete.
And that was for males. So what was women supposed? What were girls taught?
Singer, model.
Caretaker.
Oh yeah, caretaker, nurse. Because my mom's
teacher.
A nurse. Yeah, teacher. Hairdresser. Granted,
maid.
if you're gay, you're hairdresser. Maid, housekeeper, all of this mess.
Subservient.
Yeah. And when you're walking in this world and you're thinking, well, I wonder what it would be like to do this, or I wonder what it would be like to ride horses, or go this, or go here, or go there. But that's not something that's even in Black people's scope. It's not even something that we thought we could do.
We're not supposed to want to take vacations. We're not supposed to want to leave the country. We're not supposed to want to have a nice dinner out. We're not supposed to be bigger than life. We're supposed to be the helpers. And we're shifting that. We're shifting that.
You know, and what you're describing is a phrase that I'm coining: recreationally Black. Because people don't have a problem with Black folks when we're working.
Oh no.
They have a problem with us when we're in recreation.
Yes.
When we're recreationally being Black.
Right. Or like I tell
Black
people.
in recreation. Yeah. That's probably better, because we can't recreationally be Black, but we can be Black in recreation.
Right. Yeah. And I also say to people, white people want our hair relaxed so they can relax.
Well, I've been uncomfortable for 40 some odd years. You can be uncomfortable this time.
Mm-hmm. They want to, it's not professional. It's not this. Your hair is not professional. You're this, you're that. Oh, your shirt is showing too much. Excuse me?
Why are you looking?
Why are you looking?
Why are you looking? These are my titties. Why are you looking?
What are you talking about?
And why is it up to other people to police what you do?
Police my body, police my face, police my hair, my tone, my nails. Because I had a Black professor told me, yes, you need to tone down your nails because you're going to be a distraction to your students.
No, honey, it's you that is distracted by me. that is not my problem. You need
I'm
to
like,
fix.
what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I'm like, I don't even understand that. I left because see, you know, my mother-in-law told me something her father told her. You have education. No job picks you. You pick your job.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are in some place that they are not paying you your worth, you pick up your purse, you spin on your heels, and you walk out that room.
I have been her many times. I
I'm
have
like,
clacked out
what?
of there in heels, honey, please.
Like what? I'm not
What?
doing. You want me to work for $3.33 because that's how much I was making when I was 16 years old
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
3 and 4 years, for 2 years at McDonald's. Everybody else is getting raises. You're not giving me a raise. Why?
You were late on Tuesday 6 weeks ago.
I think that that's a whole subject we'll talk offline about. But it wasn't my skills because I was one of the best workers at McDonald's
Mm-hmm.
on 125th Street between 7th and 8th Avenue.
Okay. I can't even remember the last time I was in a McDonald's.
But I'm just saying,
I
$3.33 for 2 years, and other people getting little 13-cent, 15-cent increases. Regardless, they were getting increases. Please.
But the sad fact is that was 20, 30 plus years ago. And these kids are still going through that same fight. And at this point, it's not always 16 years old. Sometimes there's 22-year-olds old in there. Sometimes there's 45-year-olds in there. Sometimes there's 70-year-olds in there because we don't take care of our seniors. But that's a whole nother avenue we can go down. But again, you blew my mind with we are all taught to be workers. That's my takeaway from our conversation today.
That's all they wanted us to do, was to be workers.
I'm telling you, you just blew my mind.
And then when we started entering schools, that's when all the rules and the suspensions and the discipline, those kids, young white children, was in there doing whatever the hell they wanted to do.
And still do.
And still do. My son went to a school, a sort of private school, right here in Harlem. There were kids who was running around butt naked, shitting in the classroom, shitting in the hallway, throwing the shit, and all over the place. But they want to call me about Noah, who has sensory processing disorder and extreme HDHD. And I gave him a test, and he tested on the high end of autism, right? Mm-hmm. High functioning autistic child. All of that, they don't want to put that. He has sensory because he seeks sensation, because he'll touch you, he'll bump into you, because that's his nervous system telling him he should be in movement, or he mm-hmm. needs some type of stimulation. Mm-hmm. But our kids don't get that grace.
No, of course
they don't
not.
Get those titles. Nope. They don't get those services that help them self-regulate, and they don't get that understanding. Oh, they're bad, they're aggressive, they're this. But the little white child is doing the same thing, even worse.
Even worse.
And you're giving him hundreds of chances, or her hundreds of chances. I've seen some of them hit teachers. Nothing happens.
But then I hate to bring it up, but then unchecked, you see it escalate into school shootings.
Domestic terrorists are raised here.
Yes, they are born and bred.
They are born and bred in America. And until, again, they want to admit these hard truths,
we're going to continue to have this problem.
We've had 43 mass shootings in the last month.
I was watching CNN yesterday, and I think they said it was 157 total since
January.
Yeah.
Well,
since January?
We saw privilege unchecked January 6th.
Unchecked.
How you helping a lady who just tried to kill the vice president and storm the Capitol? You helping her down the stairs.
Yeah.
My part of my face would have been gone had it been me. If I've been there.
Sheba, I was sitting here on this
They
couch.
would have been making up all type of stories about us.
We wouldn't have gotten there in the first place. You know it. I know it. Jesus knows it. You saw what happened when 45 wanted to go take a picture, that disrespectful picture in front of the
crazy.
church, holding a Bible upside down.
That was so crazy.
You saw what happened when he wanted to go across the street.
That was crazy.
And then cut to January 6th, where you have the hillbillies.
They literally were standing there watching them storm the Capitol. They have footage of them dancing and singing, his children and his son's wife. I was in shock. But everybody wants to do this. Hear no evil, speak no evil.
Because
when I did it wrong, hear, see, or speak it.
But I think that's all part and parcel, because he, 45, has spoken directly to that base of
fear mongering.
Yes.
And those extreme racism.
You know, when he was elected, I had a lot of people.
You mean when he stole the election? When he stole the election?
Yes. I had a lot of people in my life saying, okay, well, we're going to give him a chance. Now, the people in my life who said that were all white.
Or no longer?
No, oh God, no.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, you say what you want to, boo. Now then, when the good old boy showed up with those tiki torches, and I watched that happen.
Yeah, and that young lady got killed.
And that young lady got killed. And I say to these same people, so we're going to give them a chance, huh? Well, you just don't understand. These guys are really upset. And I'm all like,
about what?
You're looking about what? About what?
They've had 400 years of privilege. About what?
What are you upset about?
Because you can't rape people the way you want to rape them. You can't spit at people. You can't put hoses on them. You can't sick dogs at them. You can't separate people from schools. You can't. What you mad about? I want to know what you're mad about, because if anybody should be burning this country down, it's Black people. And I'm sorry, I'm speaking truth to power. All we want is equality. All we want is to be left alone and equality. What's good for you?
What's allowed to thrive?
What's good for you is good for me.
Yes.
What's good for you is good for me. What's wrong for you is wrong for me. What don't you get about that? What don't you get about that?
The easiest way for me to figure it out is they don't see us, BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color. Yes. They don't see us as human. So therefore, we are not entitled to any of the dream of this country. But the dream of this country is a goddamn lie.
Talk about it.
It's a goddamn lie. And it's a lie.
I'm sorry.
It has never existed for anyone except for a very, very, very privileged few.
We are forcing this country to live up to the Constitution of democracy. We are forcing them to do it. Black people are forced, and brown people, Indigenous people are forcing them to adhere or change the Constitution. Because they need to take out that 3/4 shit. How you even think?
Why is that even still there?
Why is that still there?
Why is that still there? And why is it that there has not been, to my knowledge, and you would probably be able to tell me if I'm right, educator, there is not a lynching law federally.
No, there is.
There is
Remember,
now?
they just did it 2 years ago. The House of Representatives, yeah, they got a lynching law. There is.
2 years ago.
I remember Representative Senator Clark.
Mm-hmm.
She from Brooklyn. She was part of that. There is a lynching law.
Okay.
There is a lynching law. We can look up, but it is. They did pass that, but it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Mississippi had the highest number of lynchings in this country.
I know.
Did you just see? Yeah. Did you see how the governor has just announced in Mississippi that they are now, there's a law for white, something in regards to the Confederacy.
I'm gonna look that up because yeah.
He just did that. It was this week I read about that.
Yeah, that doesn't nothing
in Mississippi.
Nothing surprises me about that at all.
I haven't been to Mississippi since my mother got married. No, I went 2018 because I had sent my son down there while I was getting situated here back in New York. And prior to that, we had a family reunion, and I went to this liquor store, and you could tell that the man was racist. I let him ring up everything. I bought the big bottles of liquor because it was a family gathering. I let him ring it up. He told me the price. I said, I'm not buying that. I already rang it up. I said, I don't care what you rang it up. What you rang up. I'm not buying it. Check your attitude. You hear this accent? It doesn't sound like I'm from Mississippi, right? I'm not taking none of that. Spent on my heels and spent my money somewhere else.
Right.
Like, I don't have to buy from you.
Where my family lives in Mississippi, it's still very segregated. So my mother's neighborhood is still almost entirely Black. And when I went down to, we were down there probably 2 years ago, when I took my boyfriend down to meet my Black family. And we also went to the African American Museum there, and we had very, very open, honest, real conversations about race, because I'm like, listen, babe, I'm a Black man in America. You're a white dude in America. You need to understand the complexities, that involves. And our communication about that has been magnificent, but there was a moment in Mississippi where we were at this place called Forks in the Road. And it's where in Mississippi where they go, in Natchez, Mississippi, where you go sell your designer slaves. And there's a plaque there and telling all the history of it. And just about 20 feet away are shackles that are in cement.
Yeah.
And I go over and I look at and it brought this sense of, to see these shackles. And then my mom walks over and she's talking about it. And my niece walks over, who's in her 20s or so. She walks over. Scott, my boyfriend, could not walk over. He was as white as a sheet. And we get back in the car and we're driving. we finally get back to our bed and breakfast that he and I are staying in, and I look at him and I say, how was that for you? And he said, I didn't know the appropriate way to respond. So I knew that my job was just to stand and absorb.
That's right. And that's why I like him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he
Like
understands.
Yep.
That he understands that sometimes you don't have to say anything.
Nothing.
You don't have to justify it. You don't have to apologize for it. You just need to just feel it the way, let it sit with you. Let it sit with you. That's why I know the experience I'm going to have when I go into the tombs to nowhere in Africa. I already know what's going to happen to me because I know how the picture affects me. But to feel my ancestors in that space, I already know I'm going to break down. When I look at the artifacts, the shackles, the neck brace, the face braces, the hot boxes that were up on ground, the ones that were underground, it moves me in a way that I know this work is what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's exactly right. That is exactly
right.
This
is the work that I'm supposed to be doing.
I agree with you 100%.
My wife, when people get on my wife's nerves and they talk about things, and she says, "Y'all don't want me to call Harriet," and they be like, "Who the heck is Harriet?" Sheba. They do just like this. Or she said, "You don't want me to call a historian." In Paterson, New Jersey, where the DMV is, there is a plaque. That was a stop on the Underground Railroad with Harriet Tubman.
Wow.
They have first of all, it shouldn't even be a DMV there.
It shouldn't be. No. Nope.
But at least they had a little bit of respect and put a plaque there that it was a stop on the Underground Railroad. Do you know the significance of that?
That is a huge...
that people just don't even pay attention to. Like
they just flippantly walk past it.
One day I was sitting there waiting for my daughter for something, and I'm sitting in the car and I could see, and I'm like, these people are just, they don't even understand the ground that they're walking on. They don't even understand the significance of this space. And that's why it's like, I some days I hate being an empath, and then other days I'm grateful for it, right? Because it keeps my humanity. Because if you can't feel other people's pain and their joy and their, just the myriad of what people feel, the emotions, then you can't do this work. Because I would become a politician. And I know people say politician is a dirty word. I don't consider myself a politician. I consider myself a public servant because I'm here to serve. Because I know that there are so many people who want the knowledge, don't have the knowledge, and so many people who want to keep it from us, that there has to be gatekeepers who are willing to give that opportunities to others to find their assignment in life and complete it. That's why society can't move.
I love
because
that.
We're stopping people from their ordained assignments. We can't move.
On that note, young lady, where can we find more information about you?
So I am Sheba Simpson, and I am a candidate for New York City Council for District 9. And my website is shebaforcitycouncil.com. And you can also find me at tinyurl.com/Sheba Simpson. That link, you can make a donation, but my website has most of my platform. I've been leery of putting up all my policies because I've been on panels where some of my challengers seem like they just go to study my platform and then make it their own. But it's okay, because at the end of the day, they know where they got the information from. I know where they got the information from. And at the end of the day, the best person is going to win June 22nd.
Yeah, it's going to be you.
Please come out and vote June 22nd. There were so many races taking place this year: the mayoral, the comptroller, borough president, and city council. So please come out. Oh, and our DA. You get to vote on who your next DA. And remember, that is a huge, huge position that totally affects Black and brown communities.
So do your research.
So please do your research. I never tell people who they should vote for. I allow people to get the information and make their best decision for themselves. But the only decision I don't want you to do is not to make the choice to vote.
Yeah, y'all have to vote.
You do have to vote.
It's so important, because how we got here is through voting.
It's how we got
in this particular situation we're in right now is through voting. Legal or illegal, we got here through voting.
That's right. And city council determines local elections determine how your life on a regular day basis is determined.
Absolutely.
And if you give that vote up, then you have no right to complain. So please, June 22nd, come out and make me your first choice. And then there's some other candidates that are running against me that I particularly like. And I'm going to say William Allen as well as William Council. Make your choice, make the decision for yourself.
Well, thank you very much for being here, Sheba.
Thank you for having me. I really feel like you are my family now, you and Scott. I appreciate this opportunity. I've enjoyed every second of this conversation. So
oh my God, me too.